afternoon, everybody. My name is Joseph, and when I'm recording this meeting because it was demanded by the students I took on Tuesday and Wednesday on data analysis course. So quickly, I'm going to be very, very brief, but at the same time, I'll make sure you guys understand everything that is going to be taught here and practiced. So a very quick one now. Prerequisite for you to be able to go on with this course now, I need you to follow me. So for you to go on with this course, so please, I want you to have Microsoft Excel installed on your laptop or your computers. And also, if you don't have Microsoft Excel, you can follow on with Google Sheets. You can follow on with Google Sheets. I will tell you the reason why you need to do that, or you will know while we go on with this tutorial now. So quickly on Tuesday, we started by teaching the basics of what data is, the theory of data. We did theory of data. We explain what data is. Also, we talk about the use cases of data analysis in the industries. Also, we talk about about job availability for data analysis in the company, and also some other topics, different topics on data analysis. And we used the remaining time on Tuesday to do introduction to Microsoft Excel, where we learned about basic functions, like basic things like adding of numbers, doing average, mean, median, mode, and also splitting and doing some basic operation with the use of a spreadsheet application, Microsoft Excel to be specific. Now, so quickly, a quick one now. Let me just go into what data analysis is. If you're looking at seeing the screen in front of you now, it's from datapine.com. I will try to share the link to the Slack channel if I can, and also all the distinct worksheets and materials I'm going to be using for this course. It has already been shared to your Slack channel, but you can ask your class captain, Miss Muna, to share it with you. So she's going to do that with you. If you don't have access to it, she's going to guide you on how you get the course materials. So quickly, what is data analysis? I think it will be very important that before I even talk about what data analysis is, I should first tell you what data is. So basically, I think if you had to go the geeky way now as a computer scientist or something now, we can see data is the smallest. Data is what I'm in fact, you can imagine I'm almost forgetting how they define it. But basically, practically now, data is just a way of representing facts, is a way of representing information, a way of representing real life objects. For example, now in front of me, there are two loaves, there are loaves of bread, there are bags, there are chargers, mobile phone chargers now. So for me to represent this bread, I can say there are two loaves of bread. I can say there are three mobile phone chargers. I can say there are 5 bags. So it's just a way of representing real life objects or a way of representing information. So with this, you can see that our world is full of data. Our world is full of data. The stock market is data. So you can imagine the way the stock market fluctuates every now and then, the way it fluctuates every now and then. With that alone, we can just we can say, okay, let's say GBP against USD. That is the Great British pounds now against the United States dollar. The trend in that, I don't know if I can pull this up, quickly put that up on my system. So the trend between USD and GBP on its own, if you had to, I'm trying to Google it now, good. We can see that at every point in time, there's a change in the price, there's a change in the rates between USD and this thing, pound sterling. So with this alone, we understand that each of these now is called data points. Each of these is called data points. So we can see how that the world we live in consists of a lot of data. It consists of a lot of data. And this is not just the only currency we're having. We're having a lot of currency, the Nigerian naira, Yemen, the Chinese yen, and a lot of them. So each of these conversion and each of these currency, they have their own different data points. And there's one wonderful thing that is done in data analysis. I hope I'm not getting too fast myself. If I'm too fast, please just take the playback of this video down. So something now is that all of these data that are being gathered we should be able to put them to good use. We should be able to use them to get insights, to be able to use them to make or draw better conclusion. Then that is the main reason why we do data analysis, to be able to bring all this data, to be able to use them to get to be able to make meaning of data. That is the main reason of data analysis now. So it's very good to know that, okay, this week now on Monday it was sunny, we record the temperature. Maybe I'm just doing a wide guess now, maybe it was 33 degrees centigrade. On Tuesday we record the temperature again, 33 degrees centigrade. On Wednesday we record the temperature again, like that. So it means if we can get the data for Monday to Sunday, by way, if we run some analysis on that data, we can predict what the weather is going to be the next week. Now, everything being equal, we should be able to predict what the data is next week. Exactly. That is the example of the things between data and in data analysis. So what in data analysis, basically we analyze data, we work inside data, and we get facts. We get facts inside of those data. So it's not, so you can imagine, we would have said, okay, it would have been easy to analyze the trend, to analyze this trend between USD and pound sterling if we just took maybe 4 or 5 days. But now we are having data of years upon years, of trends, of changes in this currency. And so it takes skills to be able to put this data together, match them together and analyze them. That is the work of a data analyst. That is why data analysts are very, very in there. Don't worry if you're not understanding some of the things I'm saying now. As you go deep into the course, you are going to become to you understand the things I'm saying more and more and more and more. So data analysis is very, very important, and it's used in various industries. In fact, I think data analysis is used basically, is used basically in all industry. It can be used now in all industry. It can be used in the movie industry. You spot trends of, okay, which movie are people interested in. You can get to know which movie are people more interested in, which genre can we start acting over time. It's used in finance, obviously. It's used in finance. It's used to do financial projections and all that. You cannot imagine somebody predicting or modeling data on his head. So data analysis, data science applied, they are used in finance. They are used in you just talk of any industry you can talk of data analysis. You would always find its use case in any industry. So data analysis will always find its use case in any industry. So that is it. And about the job prospect for data analysis is very, very wide. Data analysis job prospect is very, very wide. For Africans, I'm an African now. For Africa, I've seen job opportunities even outside of Nigeria. I've worked freelance with people that are outside of Africa, for you to know how wide the job prospect is. And if you check your LinkedIn or job boards across, and maybe Indeed, Recruiter, or other ones like that, you are going to see that there's a lot of opportunity for data analysts. And I'm always of this opinion that it depends on how good you are. It depends on how good you are. That's how fast you'll be able to attract these opportunities. If you are very good, you'll be able to attract these opportunities. So that's that for the theoretical part. I don't want to waste more time on this. And in this course, generally, like I said on Monday, you are going to be learning how to analyze data, and you are going to be doing data analysis, collection of data, processing of data, and visualization, reporting data, dashboarding. And the applications you are going to be using for this, number one, you learn spreadsheet application, which is going to be Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. But for this class, we're using Microsoft Excel. So after that, you are going to learn data manipulation, that is data cleaning, processing with the use of Python programming language. There are different programming languages that can be used for that. I think Python and R are the most prevalent one for that, and SQL if they are large data set. But for this course, we are going to be using Python for processing of the data. And lastly, we're going to be using Tableau for data visualization. We're going to be using the Tableau for data visualization. So use Tableau for data visualization. This Tableau, I'm going to get into it more as well by next week. It's for the second week. Tableau is for the second week, while Python, we are going to do Python this week, and also we're going to be using Microsoft Excel. We're going to be doing this week now. So let me just quickly enter into the use of Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel. So quickly on let me open up a new sheet now. So on Tuesday, I said this was my introduction. I'm very fast now. This part this part of this is Microsoft Excel now. I'm going very fast. Don't worry, you understand. Just flow with me. So this part of your Excel book, let me open it up now. Excuse me. So when you open up your Microsoft Excel and you click on new, or you just open that the worksheet in your Google Drive, you're going to see a page like this. But you can click on plus to add a new sheet in order to see a fresh page like mine. So when you click on this plus to open a new sheet, just check here. This is the these are the menu bar. It contains different tools in Microsoft Excel. Menu bar contains different tools, so be very free to play with it. It's not going to harm your computer or destroy it. So be very free to flow through. So this part of the Excel listing interface contains different toolbars that you can use. I'm not using the conventional name now, but it contains different toolbars that can be used by data analysts. And also under each one, there are tabs that can be used to perform operation there. There are tabs that can be used to perform operation there. Because this is a kind of a crash course, I cannot afford to start explaining each to one after the other. But as we do hands-on practice, we get to familiarize ourselves with the tools more. So quickly, on Tuesday, I said each of these boxes that you are looking at, each of these boxes you are looking at, they are called cell. They are called cell. And above here, there's something called name box. There's not something called name box. It is used to name the cell. Remember, these are cells in Microsoft Excel or in any spreadsheet application. And they are called spreadsheet because it's just like the traditional spreadsheets used by accountants. It's like traditional spreadsheet books used by accountants, but in this wise now, in this sense, they are ebooks. They are ebooks. So it's a if version of spreadsheets, and this is how they usually rule lines. This is how the grid lines are always in most of these spreadsheets. Sorry, I'm not an accountant, but I think I have few idea of what it looks like. You know, those they are ledger book or petty cash book or something. This is how these sheets usually look like. For my in e-spreadsheet now, electronic spreadsheet, I mean, each of these cell, they are named from the name box you see from name box. And how did they come about the name? If you click up here, you see this arrow pointing down. If you click on the arrow, let me scroll up, scroll down, scroll up again. You see, this is a column. This is a column, and here, make sure the arrow is pointing now to the right now. Here now is a row. This space is a row. This is a column. This is a row. These are columns. B is a column. C is a column. So the column ranges from A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on and so forth till we exhaust, till we can't exhaust it. Same thing with rows. Column, we have row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, and so on. So we come this thing, cell names. Remember, this is a cell. The cell names were gotten from the combination of the column and the row. Column and the row. Don't forget, this is the row, the vertical one, and this is the column rather, the vertical one, and this is the row, the horizontal one. So they come about the cell name by getting the intersection of the row and column. This is column A and row 1. So we got A1. If this is column 1, if this is column B and row 2, we can easily say this is going to be what now? This is going to be cell B2, B2. This is C, this is 3. So it is C3. This one will be C3. So that's how they got about the naming of these cells. And also a quick one now. This is a formula bar. This is a formula bar. We are really going to be using it. I'm not going to be going deep into what formula bar is, but immediately we start this addition, now we get to know what formula bar is. And the same way on our traditional spreadsheet, the same way we have on our traditional spreadsheet, we have different pages. We have different pages, like let's say this is a page 1, there will be another page 2. Same way on our Excel spreadsheet now, or on our electronic spreadsheet, we have sheets. We have sheets. This is a sheet. This is another sheet. So every sheet can fulfill individual need. Every sheet can fulfill their individual need. So this spreadsheet we have presently, it deals with sort and filter. This other sheet now or other page transpose, this other page or sheet now is for splitting, where we learn about splitting. But for the sake of this course, I'm not going to be using page. I'm not going to stay in page. We are getting to become data analysts now. So let's use our industry lingo. Let's use our industry lingo. So quickly, let me turn on the grid now. We are going into addition. We want to learn how to add data. Add data. This time, we want to learn how to add number.
Okay, cool. Now I think we can continue. Let me minimize this. So we are going to start with the add function. We are going to deal with adding cell numbers. I'm not going to be very elaborate like I was during the live class, but don't worry, just follow through. You understand what I'm doing. So what we are going to do now is that we are going to add up the cell figures. Now we want to add up 50, 20, 60, and 40, basically from the ranging from cell D4 to cell D7, from cell D4 to cell D7. So normally if you want to do that in Excel, you can just go straight forward. You're going to enter the cell where you want the um answer to show. For example, if I'm interested in this cell I7, just be putting your eyes here, be checking this name box. So if I'm interested in summing up in cell I7, I can press equal to, then open a bracket and enter any mathematical expression I want there. Now I want to do 50 plus the next one, 20 plus the next one, 60 plus the next one, 40, then I close the bracket, press enter. It gives me 170, the same 170 that is here. But in order not to waste our time pressing 50 plus 20 plus 60 and 40, what we can simply do is go back to the cell. Let me delete the formal expression. I'm not going to be entering inside the cell again. That is not ideal enough. We have to do that inside this formula bar. This page is called the formula bar. So inside this formula bar now, I'm going to solve this question inside the formula bar. Okay, so inside the formula bar, let me just backspace all those out. I'll just press sum. See, it's giving the suggestion. So it's telling me add all the cells in a range of add all the numbers in a range of cells. So to select this function, I'm going to click on tab on my keyboard. Click on tab, then I'll click on the first cell I'm interested in. That is this first cell D4. Then to do multiple selection, I'm going to hold shift down, then hold the last cell. So like that is going to select from the range of 50 to 40. And I'm going to close the bracket. After closing the bracket, I'll click on enter key or return on my keyboard based on the OS I'm using. So when I press enter, it gives me 170. Can you see the same 170 that's here? So you can confirm from the formula bar how the answer was gotten. It was gotten from checking, doing summation of cell D4 to D7. That is how the formula here was gotten. That is how this was gotten. So you can also repeat the same thing to get this. You can repeat to get whatever is in this cell now. So let's do the summation for this cell from 50 to 50. Let's do the summation again. So I will pick a new cell now. As usual, I told you it's not ideal to do your expression, right expression inside the cell here. So I'm going to go to the formula bar. I'm going to the formula bar now. I'm going to click in equal to again. So use your I think it's standard that use capital letter whenever you're writing your formulas. So I'm going to write sum again. As usual, it gives me the options of the functions I can select. So you're going to select, use tab to select the function you're interested in. So after selecting tab, always take note of this. If any argument is in bracket, it means it is optional. It's not a must, it's going to be there. So I'm going to select the first cell now, representing the first number. I'm selecting this first cell, that is cell G4. Always look at the name box, cell G4 now. Using control, you can select individual cells. It's also a form of multiple selection, but when you hold shift down, it's going to select all through till the last cell you are interested in. Use control to select individual, but when you hold shift down, it's going to select the cells all through. So again, I close the bracket and I'm going to press enter. That is 140. So the beauty about using expression is that you can always change this the value of the function in order to get another distinct from another answer you want. Let's say for example now you want to get average of cell G4 to G7. The average of it is as easy as you just clicking average. Can you see now? It returns the average arithmetic means of argument, blah 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 blah. So clicking on tab again and enter, you see 35. It gave us the average of all this number here. You can input, take this into your calculator, do 50 plus 30, 10, and 50 divided by 4. You are going to see it's going to be, it will give you 35. So that is the beauty of about using functions. And remember, if you want to do this, if you want the summation to appear here, so let me take that off. That is not helping us. So if you want your summation to appear, your answer, if you want it to appear here, it's as easy as when you come here first, then you come to the formula bar, enter the formula you are interested in, enter the cell range, and it will give you the answer here. If you want this answer to appear here, just repeat the same thing. You get that? So you come here, enter, enter the formula, blah, blah, and the answer is going to show here. So it's it's just like that. So that is that about summation. That is that about summation. Remember, this worksheet is with your class captain. You can just reach out to Miss Mona to access this worksheet. You get it from my drive. So quickly, let's go to the fill tool now. Let's go to the fill tool. So we use fill cells in order to do automatic if manipulation. We fill cells to do automatic manipulation. So what I'm going to do here now, let's say I have 75 or 7 written here. If I want to copy this 7 quickly down, what I'm going to do is that instead of me typing 7, then 7, then another 7, this is just, or using tab to write another 7. This is what I'm just going to do as a smart analyst. This is what I'm going to do. Since the 7 is here, I'm going to move my cursor. Check this cursor now. It's a big white with black outlined cross. I'm going to move it to the corner of my cell and wait for it to become black, to become a black cross, a thinner cross. Then I'll click on that edge, drag down. It's going to take my duplicate my 7. The same thing here. If I want to make this 7, if I want to make it fill to the right now, I'm going to do like this. So what we just did is that we fill to the right and we fill down. We fill to the right and we fill down. So we fill sideways and we fill down. So there's something in any spreadsheet application, you cannot fill to the left, you cannot fill up. You either fill to the right or fill down. So filling is not just about filling something with similar numbers or similar data. Filling is basically used when we want to repeat a task quickly. For example, this is what I mean now. If you check this cell E4, you will see that is the summation of, checking the formula now, is the summation of C4 and D4. See, this is C4, this is D4. 50 plus 50, it's equated to 100. So it equals 100 rather now. So if you want to do the same thing, if you want 50 plus 60 to be 110, 50 plus 70 to be 120, 50 plus 80 to be 130, it's as easy as you come in here and just do the fill down. Click here and do the fill down. Okay, let me delete the cell, this thing output now. Cool. Now, so if I'm going to fill that here, this is what's going to happen. It's going to repeat the expression summation that was done. This summation of C4D4 is going to repeat it for the 3 cells that are down here, but it's going to be using the corresponding values. Instead of using 50 and 50, it's going to be using 60 and 50, 50 and 70, 50 and 80 to get 130, but it is still using the same sum function. It's using the same sum function. So that is that about that. If it were to be the average that was there now, if it were to be, let's say, yes, average. Cool. Oh, oh. That's the name error. So that's why I said it's not ideal to be writing formulas inside the cell. So let's come here now. So I know you might have gotten into that. So cool. So the average of 50 and 50 is obviously 50. So let me just delete what is there. So repeating the same, let's fill down now. Can you see 55, 60? So it's just taking the average of the complementary cells beside it. So that is how to fill basically. Now we want to learn, I've taught you this one already, how to repeat the same thing, the output is. The last one I'm going to teach you now is to let you know that Excel knows how to fill series. Spreadsheet applications, they understand, they are intelligent and they understand series. For example, now if you write January, Feb, Jan, Feb inside cells, and you want to fill, you want to continue filling, see, Excel understands that it's January, February, March, April, May. It's going to help you auto complete everything. And something I haven't mentioned so far is that you can also fill from here, but it's kind of slower method for me. But depending on based on your preference, um, come here, based on your preference, you can do flash fill based on your preference. Oh, sorry, I just said that you can do flash fill based on your preference. So let me show you how to do flash fill here. So yeah, I already have this thing written because I had a class with you guys, so I already filled it in that previous class. So this is what I'm going to do. If you want to use the filling here, you are going to select both cells, come to fill, select, see. So it's giving me an error there, but this is what I'm going to do now. See, I'm going to click on this, then take my cursor. Is this my cursor? My cursor is giving me issues. Sorry. Let me just, so you bring it below the way we have been filling before, and you drag across. Can you see? I said just found the common difference between both, which is 15, and started adding it all through. So the same thing, if I have the first cell, if the first cell is 1, the next cell is 3, Excel is going to look for the common difference between both, which is 2, and add it up. It's going to add it up, add 2 up, spread it across to give you the completion of that series till infinity. So you can use fill to reduce your troubles. You can use fill to reduce your troubles. And also another short this thing cut for filling. Another shortcut for filling is that you can always fill from here. You can also fill from here. So let's say about filling, you can do more research on your own to look for other methods, other ways that fillings can be done, other way of filling. But that's that about filling for now. So quickly, let's go to split. Let's go to split now. How to split? Let's say for instance that from whenever you have the same data inside one column now, and you want to split them up. In this case now, under the email column, we're having Nancy Smith at contoso.com. But now we want to split Nancy as the first name, Smith as the last name. So we want them to be separate. So now the question is, how do we do that? And you guys would have agreed with me that is it to click type Nancy? Is it to type Andy? Type not Jan Quotas, Maria Jones, Yvonne Mackay. It's very easy to do that. But what if the columns are like 2000? Do you think you would afford to be eating that 2000 times? Because you are going to be doing for the first name and last name. That's going to be a big waste of time. So we are going to be learning how to do that automatically to save our time. So quickly watch me do it now. I'm going to click Nancy. I'm going to click Nancy. So after clicking Nancy, oh, go back. After clicking Nancy, I'm going to come under Nancy now. I'm going to go to fill. Under fill, I click flash fill. Can you see? It repeated Andy, Jan, Maria, and Yvonne. Same thing here. Under Smith, I'm going to click flash fill now. It gives me this thing, the last name. So it splits them based on this delimiter that is full stop. Nancy dot, it's split based on the dot. So we can also go forth to say domain if that's the correct name for it now. If domain is contoso.com. So let me write contoso. Contoso. So contoso.com. Okay, cool. So if I use flash fill now, okay, go back. Okay. If I use Flash now, I can just click. Can you see? It gave me Fabricam, Early Cloud, Contoso, Fabricam. So what just happened now is that it got the domain names, it got the names that are at the end. It's just to get it is as intelligent as that. So the spreadsheet application, Excel especially, is as intelligent as that. It's as intelligent as that. And remember, I told you at the beginning of this class, you can always do the same thing using Google Sheets. You can do it using Google Sheets. So that is that about that. And also there are shortcuts to all these things, but I cannot afford to start learning everything one after the other. You will learn through as you practice. So for the flash fill now, you can always use Control E for the flash fill. You can use Control E for the flash fill. You can use Control E for the flash. So quickly now, so that is that about splitting. And you can also practice more on your own. There are more things to do. And also I want to quickly chip in this one that we did on Tuesday also. We did this thing on today, how to split based on delimiters. In data analysis or data science generally, you need to know very well about delimiters. I don't think data science, I think in when you deal with software development or software engineering at large, you need to understand how delimiters work. Basically, delimiters are used to separate the characters. They are used to separate the character. For example, now there this Nancy Smith Contoso Limited rather is delimited by which symbol now? Is separated by which symbol? What is separating Nancy from Smith? Obviously, is the comma sign. Is the comma sign. That's what is between Nancy and Smith. The same comma sign is between Smith and Contoso. So what we are going to do now, if you see they are telling you to split first name, last name, company name. A very smart way of doing that is that you separate it based on the delimiter, based on the comma. So if you are separating based on the comma, Nancy is going to come here. The next one is going to be Smith. Smith too is going to come here because it's separated by this comma. The next comma that is separating them here, Contoso is going to come. Contoso Limited now, full stop, is going to come to the company name. Why? Because they are separated by this delimiter comma. So just imagine that each delimiter represents a straight line. Each delimiter represents a straight line. So quickly let's separate these elements. Let's separate this by let me quickly demonstrate this here now. So I've clicked on the first cell. Remember, you hold your shift down to click through. Hold shift key on your keyboard down to click through. So now I just clicked through. I just clicked through. So the next step, what are you going to do next? You go to your data tab. Go to your data tab. Under data, what are you going to do next? You select text columns. Text columns. So after you select text column, let me drag here so you can see the effect now. So you are going to choose delimited. He said because it tells you that it's used to separate characters such as commas or tabs. It's used to separate character based on commas and so quickly now we can see that it's telling us that we can separate based on commas or tabs. Also, we can separate based on space. You will see other options when we enter now. And always put your mind, check this preview of selected data. It's showing now that currently the data is still separated as, it's still written as Nancy, Smith, and Contoso Limited full stop. So I'm going to click on next. Remember to select this radio, delimited. So when you go to your next button now, it's telling you what delimiter you want to use. Remember I told you about delimiters. We when we started. So the delimiter separating this now is obviously the comma. Commas is the delimiter separating Nancy from Smith and Contoso. Is the one separating Andy Knott and Fabricant Inc. Dot. So I'm going to select comma and see. Can you see there now? It's already separated them. So the delimiter now is being represented by this line, this column line. So I'm going to deselect tab. You see, it does not spoil anything there. But when I start doing other things, pressing space, you see, it's already taking us out of our objective. So let me unselect that. But we understand the reason why we are using comma now. It's just for we to separate it based on comma. So next now, we're going to click on next. Cool now. So you can see the data preview. It means we are doing well. So for us to select the destination now, the destination also is very important. Destination is very important. And in this case, the destination I want to select now. So let me select this destination, teach you how to do that. Click on that side. I don't want the answer of my whatever to be here. I wanted to start here. So I'm clicking here. I'm going to click here. So I'm going to come here, select because I want it to float the output should be here. Just want to click finish. As simple as that. And Excel will quickly pour out the answer Nancy Smith Contoso and show me here. So do I want to replace? Yes, I want to replace by what is there. So can you see it now? It's as that simple and straightforward. How to split based on the limiter, using the limiters. So always endeavor to practice this one. You can also ask other people that were in the last class so they would be able to brief you more on how this was done in case you don't understand. And you can do it to ask me, but I believe you already understand with this. So quickly, let me go to transpose. How to transpose now? How do we transpose? What does transpose mean generally? Before I continue, let me review the grid lines. So grid lines. Oh, cool. Now the grid lines are showing. Transposition basically means rotating this small table, this mini table, rotating it 90-degree clockwise. Rotating it 90-degree clockwise. That is CW90. Rotating 90 degrees clockwise. So instead of it to be item amount is good instead of the table to be I think this 1 2 3 4 5 6 instead of it to be a 6 by 2 table. Now we are going to transpose and make the table 2 by 6 instead of 6 by 2, 2 by 6. So instead of table being like this, it's going to look something like this. So the table is going to be something like this. Is that from 1 2 3 4 5 6? Perfect. So it's going to be amount item bread 50, donuts 100, cookies 40, like that. So quickly, let's transpose. I believe you understand what I'm doing. And if you don't understand yet, don't worry, you understand as I go on. So now I'll click on item now. After I click on item, remember you hold your shift down to click to select everything. So I've done that. Then copy, Control C. I'm using Control C to copy. You can also right click to copy, but me, I'm using Control C to copy. You can press copy from there, but I'm using Control C to copy. So once you copy, you will select any tab you are comfortable with. It's not a must you select this one that is in yellow. You select any tab you want. So remember, I already hit Control C. So I'm going to select this tab and I'm going to click on paste. Click on paste. I'm not going to select anyhow paste. I'm going to come here for paste special. So under this, I'm going to, you see, there are different options under paste. There are different options under paste. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to select paste by transpose. This is it. Paste by transpose. You can hover your mouse on it before you to see what is there. Paste by transpose. See now, see what paste by transpose did. Very fast. It just transposed this mini table. Paste by transpose this mini table. So repeating it again. Remember, if I want to transpose this one again, I'll click item, click the last one, come to a cell I'm interested in. No, I've not copied. Click item, click on the last one, press copy, come to the cell I'm interested in. Under paste, paste by transpose. Can you see it took it back to where we are coming from? Perfect. Now we can go to sort and filter. It's becoming a little bit interesting now. Don't worry, I'm taking my time to teach you this basic. I'm taking my time very well so that when you start doing advanced things, there are more interesting and sweeter things to do in data in analysis that are better than this. But I bet you me, if you don't understand the basic very well, you'll be having issues when you are dealing with the advanced topic. So now let's go to sort and filter. Let's go to sort and filter. So basically, sorting means you want to arrange things, you want to put them in place, you want to put them in place. So if you want to sort in this step now, remember, let's go to our view and open the grid line. So the grid is there now. So let's say I want to sort this. I want to sort this small table. I want to sort it based on their department type. Now, as if you check very well, remember as an analyst, you should have eyes for details. Eyes for details. It means you can see the minutest, smallest of all details. So now you can see there is meat here. There's two meats. That is a department on its own. There's two bakery. Bakery is a department on its own. There's produce department and there's daily. Daily is a department. So basically now there are four departments here. Generally, there are four departments generally. So if you want to sort by department now, it's as easy as going to department. You will come to sort and filter option here. Then you just click. You can, if you click sort A to Z, it's definitely going to sort based on lowest to highest. That is in ascending order now. It's going to start from bakery, then goes to deli, then goes to meat and produce. Why? Because B comes before D on the alphabet table, something ABC. You understand, right? To Z. So can you see now? It's sorted bakery daily. So basically now it has done the sorting for you. Don't worry, if you want that one that would make bakery only bakery to be on one line, we're going to I think we're going to do something like that when we got to drop down. So now you have seen it has sorted them in alphabetical order. It has sorted them in alphabetical order. And another after that we should also take note of is we are not just going to deal with sorting alone. We are not dealing with sorting alone. We should also learn how to filter. How to filter? Filter basically means taking something we are not interested in out. The same way you filter using sieve, whether you're in the kitchen or you are filtering powder or something, filtering out um, um, dirt or impurities from water. So you can analyze, you can take that to what we are doing here also. Let's say on in this table now we want to filter out the sats. We are not interested in the sats. Any row containing the sats, we don't want them. This is what we are just going to do now. Under the category table, which is sort and filter, click on filter. Can you see it gave us this drop down arrow? So under this arrow, click on whatever is in this arrow. Now you have the option to select desert. I don't want to desert. Unselect it, then press OK. Immediately, pium, the start is off. We've taken the start out of the equation, and this process is not destructive. We can always change it back if you are not interested in what is here. See, I can select it, bang, the start comes back. So what happened between these two things? Remember, there was no arrow here before. There was no arrow here before. But when we clicked on filter, the filtering arrow came now. So another way of doing that to make this filtering arrow come without you having to go to this place is just for you to press Shift Control and L. So when you click Shift Control and L, that filtering menu is going to come for you and can use it. It's not just used for filtering alone, it's also used for sorting. So instead of you going to that corner, you can sort also from here. Z to A now is sort in descending order. So from P to B. And take note of something. The sorting, the filtering is being done row wise. It's being done row wise. What do I mean by it's being done row wise? It means that it's not just going to affect only one column, it affects the entire row. For example, now if I'm to sort out produce now, if I'm to sort out produce from department, pam, the two rows containing produce, they all are going to leave. It's not just taking the columns away. So now let's quickly learn how to sort based on it. It's basically the same thing with this one. I think I should even leave you with it. I think I should leave you with it. I think I should leave. Okay, but let's just do sorting based on selected color. See, sort by color. So there are two colors here. There are yellow. There's yellow color. Let me say I want to fill this cell with color red now. I'm going to come to this space. This is fill. The paint bucket here is used for selecting the color you want to fill with. And if you are not sure about any of these tools, please just hover by it and wait for like a second. You are going to see what it does. It's going to explain itself to you, so you can apply that. If I see now, if I click on that thing, it's going to be replicated on the cell and do what I want it to do. So you just be patient for Excel to always show you the meaning of what it wants to do. There's no magic about it. So because I want to fill this cell now with color red, for example, I can select and say red. Bang! Excel, give me that red now. We've selected the red. Well, we selected for C now. It gives us the red color. It gives us the red color. So now I can sort based on color. Okay, let me do sorting. Filter by color rather. I said sort. Bang! I only want red. Can you see now? Filter by color. I only want yellow. Can you see now? On select, it selects, it takes all that in there. So remember, practice with me. You just practice as I'm going. Follow me and you will understand it. So remember, I already covered tables, so I don't think we need to go through tables again. We don't really need to go through tables, and we are going to dig deep into it for our we are having an exercise to do. I sent an exercise to the class for the girls to practice on Tuesday, and so I'm going to be doing that here now. So in case some of you have not done that, you can follow, but I guess and I bet most of you have done that. I bet most of you have done that. So quickly, tables make things easy in Excel. You can imagine looking at an Excel um, table per se. It's not a like real table, like, but looking at this sort of table in Excel that is not having any filter arrow on it is kind of, in fact, it's kind of ugly to me. It's ugly to me. So let me make it less ugly. Let me just put a grid line to just, yeah, it's less ugly now. But looking at it now, it's kind of more ugly to me and not well arranged. But the moment I come here, press Ctrl Shift L, remember, or come to this solar filter side. Let me use Ctrl Shift L now. I'm trying to be fast. When I press this Ctrl Shift L, it starts adding beauty to it. And to make it more beautiful, I selected using Shift now. Using Shift, I'm going to fill it with color green. Give me green. Give me green, green. I don't like that green. Recent colors, recent. Okay, let me go by this. Okay, making more sense now. So cool. So this is what you just did. They made this white. So using Shift now, I'm selecting everything again. This one is for the color, font color now. You see, this is for the paint bucket to fill. So I'll make it white. Where are you? White. White. Perfect. Perfect. Now, can you see? We just have repeated what's there. So now tables make things easier. So I'm going to add good. I'm going to add one more table now. What this table does is Ctrl Shift L. Yeah, I just press Ctrl Shift L twice. So if I'm in this table now, if I just want to do, and which you can do in normal distinct table, but I just want to make it to make sense now. If I want to sum up everything that is here, remember I taught you sum at the beginning of this tutorial. I'll just come to this cell I'm interested in, go to the formula bar as usual, sum, use tab to select the function, then go to the first cell, select, and I'm going to hold shift down to select this 30,000. So what happened now? It's going to be summing up from this cell H6 to this cell G to this cell G6. So let me do that again because I've undone it. So I'm going to the last. So oh, that's summed for me. So what it just do, it summed up E6 to G6, E6 to G6, and gave me one for 40,000. And using fill down, what would happen? It's going to add up. Can you see? It add up 10, 3, 4. That is 80,000. Add up 30, 15 to that. That is so that is that about using table. Tables make your work easier. So from this now, I can say okay, I don't want to go faster than myself now. I don't want to go faster than myself. We come and do this later. We try this out when we deal with our exercise. We try this. We do something that is related to this when we start doing our exercise. But let's just move on now. Go to drop downs. I feel I'm talking too fast. Please let me just take water and take a break. I'll pause and come back. Next thing we are going to do now is the use of drop downs. We are going to learn how to use drop downs in Excel. The use of drop down is a part of data analysis that is called data science, rather, that is called data validation. It's part of data science that is called data validation. Data validation is done when you want users to input a specific value. You don't want them to input values that are out of the scope of our analysis. So, for example, now you might have this sort of problem where you want people to either feel male under gender. Now under gender you would actually want people to feel maybe male, female, or others. You won't want them to feel something like put something like I'm looking for something around an umbrella under the gender. You won't want them to feel something like cloth under the gender. You would only want them to feel any of these option under your gender now. So that is data validation, to validate the input of user. So to do this kind of thing, I think it's good that we know that you need to make a drop down where users can select one of these three options. So that is what we are going to do now. I'm going to come back to the to the cells that I want to apply those drop down. Yes, from the first yellow to the last yellow cell. So I'm going to go to data under my data tab. Let me go back to home. So I'm going to come to the data tab. Under the data tab, I'm going to come to data validation. Click the drop down. Click on data validation again. After that, I'm clicking list instead of any value. Click list. What's the source of my data? I want from here male, female, and others. Those three. So let me enter. Click OK. Nice now. So under here, male. Under here, female. Okay, maybe female. Under here, click others. You notice that now the user cannot just enter any value he's interested in. Like what Excel tells him this value you are entering is not valued. So cool. So now you can only enter the value specified by you. Specified by you. And someone asks, what how can I hide this thing? Oh, very nice. I said just do this. Click on everything, go to home, come here, select the text, make it white. They won't know something is there. And you can put that in a distance place and there are other options. But that is just a cheat sheet for you. Nice. They won't know it's there, so they won't be able to change it. But you yourself, please write the cell numbers down. So you won't be looking for it. It's there, but it's invisible because you change the text color to white. So quickly now, let's go start analysis now. Wow, we are getting to the interesting part now. We are getting to the interesting part. I think the other ones there for us is using charts and pivot table. Yeah, I'm going to do this together with analysis. I'm going to do this together with analysis. And to help us do this, I'm going to introduce you to the concept of data sets. Data sets. I'm going to introduce you to the concept of data sets. So cool now. So to analysis now, this is where the bulk of our work load is in. We are data analysts. We are not just data sorters or table planners or data entry specialists or data filler or data splitter. We are data analysts. So now we are just quickly. I'm quickly going to go to analysis. Though data analysis, we usually say it comprises of the method of collecting data. Processing data and all that till the data makes sense to our stakeholder or people involved. But I'm going to quickly do a demo to show you the kind of things we do in data analysis. And I promise you, in classes to come, these are the things we are going to do, especially when we start dealing with visualization in Tableau now. We're just going to be dealing with analysis. We're going to be doing visualization. It's not just going to be that we are basically splitting or filling or do any of that. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to be doing deep in-depth analysis. We learn how to collect data, how to visualize them, how to analyze them in a sensible and reasonable way. So quickly, I'm just going to show you the kind of thing we do. So one, I guess you've collected. I guess it's going to be like this. I'm looking for a way to enter here now. Okay, Now, let's say I'm going to open a data set now. I'm going to open a data set now. So you need to understand what a data set is. You need to understand what a data set is. Basically, data set just comprises of, it's just a data sheet or a data worksheet, just like an Excel worksheet that contains data. For example, now, if it's a worksheet on its own, it might just be a data set about a school department with respect to the money that it generated in Q4. That's October, November, December. This might be a data set for that. So quickly now, I'm going to be opening a data set, a sample data set. So let me check for my personal data set folder. I have a data set folder on my computer. So let me quickly go through that and get data set from it so that we can quickly work with and analyze. Remember, the process of analysis basically just basically have to do with getting insight from data. So I'm going to look for this data set now, in order to we work on it together, and I'll get insight from it in the next 15 minutes or so. I don't want to take time on that. I don't want to take time on that at all. So okay, Windows is pulling it up for me. So where is that folder? Documents. So while I'm doing this, please can just go through the things we've done so far. Just go through it. Sorry, and data, there's a data folder, data sets. Okay, my data set. Let's see. Okay, so I will use internet data. I used internet data with the girls on Wednesday, so let me use it. So, and is an Excel worksheet. So I just double click to open it directly on Microsoft Excel. So basically, this data set, it contains about data for 150 countries. So that is definitely 150 rows of data with their corresponding the average number of 1 gigabyte of internet in these countries. So it contains 1 gigabyte of internet in this country. So from this data set, we analyze, we do what they call EDA, exploratory data analysis on this data sets. We just want to explore to see meaning, to make sense out of this data set. So that's what we are going to be doing. I'm going to share this particular data set with your class captain. So she's going to give you guys on the Slack channel also. She's going to show you guys on the Slack channel. So this is the data now. So like I told you, it has 3 columns. So the first column is rank, basically just like a numbering system from one to number each country now. So the second column is for the country, and the last column rather now is for the average price of 1 gigabyte of data. So, and the average price of 1 gigabyte of data is in United States dollar. So I'm going to start exploration now, like I did with the girls. You can see it will start getting interesting now. And the joy of this thing is that I took time to teach you the basics so that when I start doing the exploration here now, it's not going to look like magic to me. You understand everything I'm doing, but it may just be like the way I'm doing that will amaze you. But there are things that you are already familiar with. And like when I was doing it on Wednesday, the girl was like, okay, wow, wow, wow. Yes, that's how it's supposed to be. So guys, tighten your seatbelts as I'm about to start exploring this data now. So I'm going to go to the first row here. Control B. I like making it bold. I don't know. I like making it bold. I don't know. So next thing now is you can imagine, they say average price of 1 gigabyte of USD. So I think the first thing that should come to your mind, though I already touched this data a little bit, the first thing that should come to your mind is that we want to know the country that where data is more expensive. We want to know the country where data is more expensive. So I hope it's not an African country, but let's confirm that now. So let's go to filter, sort from smallest to highest. So largest to smallest. Now I want to sort from highest to smallest. He said and expand entire selection. Come on, you can see my dear Africa, we are still there. First five: Malawi, Benin, Chad, Yemen, and Botswana. Always repping it. So you see, imagine a gigabyte of internet as at when this data set was collected by me was is was $27.41 in Malawi. So let's say our shareholder or the people that are interested in getting our result now, let's say they are Nigerians. It means they don't just want to see the United States dollars rates of the data. We want to see it in naira. We want to see it in naira. So how do we do that? How do you do that? So let me just create a new column header and name it um
rate. Okay, naira rate. Let me call it naira rate. And basic mathematics, how do you convert, how do you do currency conversion? So let's say we need to be able to get the equivalent of $27.41 here, the same thing with everything here. So it means if we know, let me check online now and see how much, and check the cost of $1 to naira. So let me write convert naira to dollar. Kind of. I hope that's the right thing to do. Convert naira to dollar. Oh, sorry, convert dollar to naira. Convert dollar to naira. Dollar. So that is 415.65. For one USD is 415.65. So basic mathematics teaches us that we should just come to this column, go to the formula bar, you write equal to, open your bracket. Remember how I taught you how to use formulas. So 416 point what now? Let me confirm again from the browser. Dollar to naira 415.65. So I'm going to write 415.65 multiplied. That is the, we use asterisk for multiplied. The asterisk is when you press shift and 8, is that star. That asterisk is used for multiplication. Multiplied by, you now select this cell now. I'm selecting cell C2, then close the bracket. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit enter. Now it's telling me that the naira rate now is 11,392.9665 kobo. But let's make it more naira now. Let me see if I can make the data type currency. I'm still at the home tab now. I'm doing exploration already, so don't worry if you don't understand. I'm still going to take time to explain to you. So see, currency. I'm telling you that it's a currency. Good. So more accounting format. I want to take naira. I don't want it to be in dollars. I want it to be in naira. So if it were to be in Google Sheet now, the option is there direct, but Excel will always toy with us. Yes, I know. Excel will always toy with us if we want to do something like this. So I think I better take this thing to Google Sheet now. It's a free class, so I'm allowed to do that. So let me just quickly. Okay, Excel says welcome back. So let me try doing that again. So let me click drop down, more accounting function. Cool. So see the symbol now. I'm settled in Nigeria. So let me press N. Let me scroll down, scroll down. NGN, that is Nigerian Naira. You can see. Cool. It just rounded it off to two places decimal. So that is 97 kobo. So I can, oh, perfect. So that is 11,000 Nigerian Naira. It means in Malawi, as at this time, they're paying 11K for 1 GB of data. So for me to what do you call it now? For me to spread this thing across. I cannot afford to start pressing the formula one after the other for each one. So what will I do now? I'm going to fill. I'm going to fill control. Okay. So you click on that dot, that crossbar again, as usual, and you scroll down to the last one you're interested in. There are different ways of doing that, but we'll come back to that later. So basically, what this is doing now, what is doing basically now is, okay, let me go back. There's something unusual. Let me go by balance step, take it out of currency. Okay, then spread across. Okay, that there's an unusual behavior which I need to quickly investigate now. I'm coming back. Okay, so the other the is showing me I just did some investigation, like some findings. So I noticed it was showing displaying the same answer all true, because I thought I was trying to change some default settings here. So I went to formula then. So I changed something there. At default is in automatic, but because I was trying to do something then, I left that manual. So it's supposed to be automatic. So now it's showing us the excuse me, showing us the correct answers now. So maybe, so let me just come here, feel, flash fill. Oh, sorry. So just drop down. There are always many ways of doing things. It's telling me zero because it multiplied 415 times this cell element, and it does nothing to write. It's zero. So I'm deleting that one. So as usual, let me now go back. I already lost the currency value then. So let me go to home, the data type there is more accounting function. Sorry, currency type. currency type, and naira, NGN. So okay, giving Nigerian naira. Okay, cool now. So okay, we are doing data exploration now. So another thing we can do now, let's just add that table. Let's make the table Control Shift L so that we can sort, we can remove countries if we like. We can remove Afghanistan. In fact, let's select all to remove all the countries, and let's just select some countries. We can even search. We can search through the country. Malawi. Malawi. Okay, we already selected Malawi. India. Let's see India. Oh, we already selected India. So nice. So it gave us only India. So if we want to select multiple countries, we can Algeria, Albania, Argentina, and this and that. It's going to, you see, it filtered out those nonsense. This part of the filtering we're talking about then. So let me just select all. Okay, all of you come back. So what we can also do now in this analysis is I can decide that I want to see the top 5 countries in form of chart, in form of a chart. So let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can say from here to here. So we can also do these things with pivot table. We are still going there. It's step by step. So from here, so come to insert. I've selected the top 5. Now remember, you hold the first cell using your shift key. You hold the last cell, then you come to insert. Then when you get to insert, you go to recommended chart. You can select any chart of your choice here. It's going to give you the top 5 country in the specific chart you select. But it's always good most times, especially when you are not given any rule. Go by this. You can see Malawi, Benin, whatever. Just go by recommended charts. It's going to give you the most appropriate charts you can use. So let me go with this clustered column chart. Okay, just click on OK. So you see, very simple and straightforward chart. Very simple. So you can see Malawi. You can imagine the distance between Malawi and Cyprus. Very long. Malawi and Cyprus. If you were to compare, let me draw on that chart now. Let me select this top 5. I'm using shift now to select everything. Let me now go to the last one. India. India. I use shift, sorry. Okay, I already selected India. So let me hold control down. So I like the way I'm doing it now. You would get to see the mistakes we make and how we quickly turn over. So this part of it. So I come back to my insert. On insert, go to recommended chart again. Oh my god. You can imagine Indian is even nowhere to be found. See the top 4. See Africa. You can imagine, see African data. So compare it to India here now. See the data for India is very low. They pay lesser for their internet data compared to Malawi. See us, look at Africans up there. So that's why we keep seeing so what I'm just doing now is basically exploring the data, making sense out of data. You can do a lot of things here. You can do a lot of things here. And this is a data set. This data set is just showing country, average price, naira rate, and everything. So the steps in data analysis basically start with asking questions. Maybe the title of the project your firm just gave you was that okay, Esther or Blessing or Ada or Cynthia, I want you to help us to get the help us to solve this data problem in Africa. Help us solve the data problem in Africa. I bet you this might be one of the data sets you need to gather. This might be one of the data sets you need to gather. And in coming classes, I'll be stopping here for today. I'll be stopping here for today, except I think I need to solve the exercise I gave you. I promise to do that. I promise to do that, but it's getting 90 already. It's getting 90. It's 1 hour plus. So I don't know if I'm supposed to do that, but please do let me know if you want me to solve the exercise after you get this video. I would surely do that for you. So the thing is, there in coming classes, I'm going to teach you how to get data sets. How to get data set. Definitely, I'm not the one that compiled all this myself. In fact, it's a real time data. Is real data. Is real data. Is real data. Oh my! I'm just going down. I can see Indian pin 37 gig for, so we can trace a lot of economy, not whatever from here now. Israel is paying 45 naira for 1 gig.
Can imagine. So like 10 gig will be like 4,500. Like so. Okay, nice. So that is just that. I'm already getting into that analyst this thing mindset. So that's how we do it. So, but definitely questions are going to be asked. Questions are going to be asked of you as data analyst. So let me just align this. Align, align, align. Okay. So there's a lot of things you can do here. We can keep customizing and customizing and customizing. Say amount by data rates. So there are a lot of things to do. You can always try this out yourself. You can try this out yourself. Like there's a lot of things you can do with it. I think the class is almost off now, so I'm just playing with anything. That's almost off now. Make it transparent. So so I was talking about data sets. I was talking about data sets. So in coming classes, I'll be teaching you how to get data sets. I'll be teaching you how to get data set and to work with, to play with. This data set was gotten from somewhere which I can't remember again. I think it's everyday Monday. So I'm going to be sharing you the links to data sets, but on your to your class captain, so she can give you on the on Slack. But some of the common places where we get data sets are Kaggle. We get data set from Kaggle. The website is kaggle.com/dataset. Kaggle.com/dataset. It's not coming up quick now. So from this kaggle.com/dataset, you will get different data. There's a lot of data set there. FIFA pass versus PES, whatever, NBA, sports, education, economy, different data set. It will give you different data that you can analyze, visualize, and make meaning out from medicines. One other this thing you guys can work on, I think you guys are going to submit that. It's going to be your capstone project. It's going to be a research on malaria in Africa. We are going to you guys we are going to work together rather on how we can reduce malaria in Africa. So it's a real time problem. It's a real time problem. We check how we can solve malaria in Africa. We check we through data. I'm going to update you guys as we go on soon. So I think that is that for now. I'd like to close the class for now. I'm a little bit stressed, like lethargy already. So I'll post this. I'm going to send the link to this video to your captain. I'm going to send the link to this video to your captain. And if there's anything you don't understand, please get across to me or the captain better still. Please get across to us. There are interesting things to be done. We have more interesting things to be done. So we'll still plot for map, plot for all these things. But please work on your exercise and all that. Work on your exercise. And if you still want me to solve the exercise, please just holler at me via your Slack channel, your class captain. I'm going to do that. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your resilience to stay to the end of the class. So hopefully on on Saturday, we are going to continue with Python. We're going to be writing code. So I already did the introduction to those that were available in the class on Wednesday. I showed them my deep book note. This is what we are going to be using. We are going to be using this app is online. Is online. So it's on cloud. So we are going to be using it to write Python code. We are going to be using it for data analysis. So we are going to everything we did on Excel, we are going to be using Python to replicate the same thing. We are going to be using Python to replicate the same thing. So you guys just stay tuned. Stay tuned to Saturday, and the rest of the training is going to really be interesting. So I crave your own indulgence. If you just stay, follow, ask questions. If you get confused at any point, I'm going to put you through. I'm going to put you through. So hopefully we meet on Saturday. Thank you very much.